It is a new game and a new day here as we are here live for Thanksgiving Day as the Cine-men movie podcast presents
the Tuesday morning audible.
Now it's not Tuesday morning, it's turkey morning, but here we are presenting you with your turkey audible for this Thursday morning. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
And Ed, this is the beginning of a new day.
It's kind of a cool little adventure we're starting to partake in here.
So we are going to start our football podcast this week. That goes live every Tuesday, starting this Tuesday, November 27th at 11 o'clock in the morning. How excited are you?
Oh, man, I love football. I love movies, don't get me wrong, and loving what we're doing with the Cine-men movie podcast, but I definitely love football as well, so I'm excited to get into this little venture.
So we are here for Thursday, and it'd be different if it was any other Thursday.
Yeah.
We'd have one game to cover. But
Yeah.
there's going to be 3 games tonight, and it all kicks off here in about 30 minutes as the Detroit Lions are at home and they take on the Chicago Bears.
Which, unfortunate for the Chicago Bears, they are Mitchell Trubisky-less. He is injured with a shoulder injury via ESPN, at least, is what it is.
Man, and Trubisky, let's talk about him for a little bit because the guy has been...
Kid's good.
He's getting overlooked. He's thrown 20 touchdowns, 9 picks, almost 2,500 yards. The completion percentage is there.
Yeah.
It's not that bad, but he's got a pretty good defense behind him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you've got Khalil Mack leading that defense, which is a new addition this year, of course, which, there's a difference.
I mean, they really don't have much of a running game.
No, maybe not really. But, I mean, yeah, they've got... they're not too bad. I think they're 10th in the league in rushing yards per game, so that's not bad.
But then you look at the other side, you got the Detroit Lions are at home, who, it's a Thanksgiving Day tradition. They play at home every Thanksgiving, and they're limping into this game, if you will, at 4-6.
Yeah.
Some people in Detroit are saying it's time for Matt Stafford to get out of there.
Which, I mean, it's kind of a sad thing to say, especially for how much he has done for that team. But, I mean, yeah, when the fans are calling for it, sometimes you got to listen.
It's all about what have you done for me lately in the NFL, and the guy has not won any playoff games.
That's true.
Look how long it's been since they've been in the playoffs.
Yeah, but I mean, then again, it's not squarely on him either. I mean, there's been a few rusty cogs in the works.
But when you're getting paid multi-million dollars to sit there and take your team
cap room that could be used elsewhere
exactly
on the line on different quarterbacks.
The Detroit Lions is one of those franchises that they've seen Hall of Famers come and go.
Oh yeah,
Barry Sanders, Megatron, Calvin Johnson,
and just
he's the last time they were on the playoff. The last time they were in the playoffs, he was a part of the team.
Yeah, he's a big.
But now you have Golden Tate who has stepped up. You've had a good defense. You let Ndamukong Suh go. Yeah, Ndamukong Suh was kind of...
Well, they let Golden Tate go to the Philadelphia Eagles, too.
That's what I'm saying. He recently got traded. But why? Are you blaming everybody else around Matthew Stafford? At the end of the day, you have to look at your quarterback. I'm sorry, but 17 touchdowns and 8 picks with 2,600 yards...
Which, I mean, isn't a horrible stat, just because he does have more yards than Trubisky, but he is an older quarterback. He is supposed to be a more seasoned quarterback. So
then you look at the Detroit Lions' schedule the past few games. They beat the Panthers by a point. Hey, a win's a win in the NFL.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's hard to come over a win. And then you look just a few weeks ago on the 11th of November, the Chicago Bears put it on them pretty heavy.
Yeah, which, I mean, this is another divisional game for them, so they've got to kind of win this to even be
But I mean, the Lions are on a 3-game lose streak.
Yeah.
They snap it at home against the Panthers. Now, they're almost in a must-win situation at home. Chicago is coming to town.
Yeah,
Chicago's hungry.
Well, I mean, you
look at the way that defense flies around the football. Chicago is hungry, and Chicago wants to win.
With the loss of Mitchell Trubisky, basically. I mean, yeah, it kind of sucks, but
Is he out for the year?
no, just shoulder injury, maybe a week, 2 weeks tops.
And see,
So he should be back.
playing today helps them out.
Yeah.
If Chicago can pick up the win on the road against the Lions,
with Chase Daniel,
and then they won't play again until Sunday, a week from Sunday.
Right.
So that gives him a little bit of time to rest up. And you look at the Bears' remaining schedule. They're at the Giants, home to the Rams, which is going to be a Sunday night primetime game.
That one's going to be a hard one for
the
them.
The Bears have the defense to cool down the Rams, you would think.
Oh yeah, you'd hope so at least.
And then they're at home, Soldier Field, against the Packers.
Yeah,
they can beat the Packers.
Yeah, I mean they
have a favorable schedule because it looks like the toughest game that they have between now and New Year's is going to be at home to the Rams.
Definitely, because I mean the Rams have been a prominent. I mean, don't get me wrong, defense and offense has been pretty good.
They have the Lions today, at New York Giants, home to the Rams, home to the Packers, at the 49ers, and then they finish out the year against the Vikings.
Yep.
All winnable games.
Yeah,
anybody
definitely
can be beaten on any given Sunday.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying anything about Patrick Mahomes, but guys ridiculously come out in form. That guy, as young as he is, he did not have a sophomore slump. That kid's going right now. So
the way the Bears are going, they are sitting at a pretty 6-3.
Right.
I can see the Bears getting that number 3 slot in the playoffs and hosting a playoff. Either way, they win the division, they're going to host a playoff game at Soldier Field.
Yeah.
It's tough to go up north, tough to play in 20-degree weather,
yeah.
And it's tough to play a good defense on the road in the playoffs.
Very true.
I don't want to say it right now.
Yeah.
But if there's any way that Chicago can get into that number 2 spot, watch out.
Yeah, because I mean, they're with Mitchell Trubisky, and I'm not saying everything relies on him, but he's a good cog.
Look at the Bears. The last time the Bears went to the Super Bowl, look who their quarterback was.
Right.
Rex Grossman.
Right.
Dude couldn't throw a candy cane.
Right.
That defense and that running game led them to that Super Bowl. Almost kind of the same ingredients here, if you will.
Yeah, the defense definitely is strong. Running game's not bad at all either. Nothing to sneeze at. But now I think they have a more level-headed quarterback in Trubisky.
So
still young, so I mean, still time to let him grow, you could say. But we'll see.
Just a few weeks ago, the Bears beat the Lions at Soldier Field in Chicago, 34-22. Today, Thanksgiving at Detroit, 30 minutes away from kickoff. Who do you got?
I would have to say, honestly, it depends on Chase Daniels, but I'm going with the Bears. I mean, that defense, led by Khalil Mack, that's not an easy thing to overcome.
Time to take your pills.
That's not an easy thing to overcome. So, yeah, I've got Chicago Bears. Yourself?
I'm going with a Thanksgiving Day upset. Mm-hmm. I'm going Detroit at home, 27-24.
Okay.
I like Detroit to take advantage of the injury. I think Chase Daniels can get them in field goal range. I think they can put a couple touchdowns up. But at the end of the day, I think the Bears' offense is just going to be on the field.
Not going to be.
No, let me put that the other way. The Bears' defense is just going to be on the field way too much.
Oh, okay. Tired out.
They're going to be tired.
I got you.
Because I don't think the offense is going to put up a lot of points, and I don't think Chase Daniel can
not take their fair time of possession.
So, and now if they prove me wrong, all power to them. I'm going. I hope the Bears can do good.
Right.
But today on Thanksgiving Day, I'm picking the Lions, 27-24.
Gotcha. So next game is, of course, the Washington Redskins and those Dallas Cowboys.
Man,
I know where your allegiance lies with this. Truthfully,
I was hoping we weren't going to talk about this game today. No,
honestly, I'm on your side with this one. Alex Smith.
Honestly, Alex Smith out for the year.
Yep.
Tough break.
Yeah, tough couple breaks for him. Honestly, poor
but
guy.
They were in first place,
yep.
And now I think honestly they can finish in first place.
I mean, it's a possibility.
I think Colt McCoy behind center, with a good running game in Adrian Peterson, and with those wide receivers, I really think Colt McCoy can have himself a day. Not to mention, I mean, the last time he started a big primetime game was a few years ago at Monday Night Football in Jerry World. The dude lit it up.
Right.
Dude tore up the Cowboys.
Well, Well, he was breathing familiar air, kids from Texas, so yeah.
Colt McCoy, this is a tough for me. This is a pretty tough one, especially when you look at the last time the Redskins and Cowboys played just 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
October 21st. It wasn't pretty. It was a close game, but the Redskins, it felt like it was a blowout.
Well, I mean,
It felt like it was a blowout. The Redskins knocked off the Cowboys 20-17. You look at that game. Dak Prescott against that defense did not have a good game. He threw one touchdown, a pick or two, almost threw for 300 yards, but they could not run the football against that Redskins defense.
No, 6 attempts, 33 yards, and that's just from Prescott himself. Let alone what Ezekiel Elliott did.
Peterson had 99 yards. Alex Smith couldn't throw the ball that good. So, in Dallas, I think Colt McCoy might be able to get some stuff going because of his mobility.
Right. That's a definite up for them.
But we'll touch on the Redskins a little bit. The Redskins, they struggled against the Giants a few weeks ago.
Right.
They got embarrassed at home against the Falcons. And then they had a tough time defensively or offensively, but they did defeat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then last week, they took a loss at home again to the Houston Texans.
Which, to be fair, the Texans have been on kind of a good streak for themselves at least.
So believe it or not, Dallas wins this game, and they're sitting pretty in first place.
Yeah.
Sitting first place in the East. Which, honestly, the Giants could run the table. I don't think they're gonna, but if the Giants went out, they could win the division.
Yeah, it's Eli's got some surprises with him, but it's never a full-on guarantee whether or not.
Now, the Cowboys are 7-point favorites today. I think I'll take the spread. I like that. I like the spread. I think whoever does win, it'll be a close game. It's a 3:30 kickoff on Fox, 2:30 Central Time. But the Cowboys could, if it all starts today, but they could run the table as well. The toughest game they have left is next Thursday night. They have a whole week to prepare, but it's at home at Jerry World against the Saints.
Yeah, so
that's the toughest game they have left. They host the Eagles at home. They're at the Indianapolis Colts, which Andrew Luck has been lighting it up.
Yeah. That offensive line has too.
We'll talk about that on Tuesday. And then they have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home. And then they finish out the year at New York, at MetLife Stadium, against the Giants.
Yep. All right, now talking about the Saints. The last game for today at 7:20
we didn't give our picks. We're not done yet.
Oh, my bad.
So, with that being said, the Eagles, they're a disaster in the East. They can't catch a break for anything. They're sitting at 4-6. Let's talk about the NFC East right quick. Like we said, today's first place. The Cowboys are sitting at 5-5 in second place. Washington is 6-4 in first place.
Yep.
Philly is in third place at 4-6, and the Giants are in last place at 3-7. All teams are still mathematically alive to win the division. The only way a team in this division goes to the playoffs is if they win the division.
Yeah.
So, with this game being Thanksgiving, Cowboys tradition, who do you got?
Honestly, I am going to go with the Cowboys. I think they've got it more in their favor. That's really it. I do, because I don't think Colt McCoy will have anything bad against him. I really don't. I think he's going to do a good game. I just think Dak and Ezekiel and the rest of the Cowboys are going to outshadow him, basically, or overshadow him, basically. That's all.
The way the defense have been playing for the Cowboys right now, at home.
Yep.
My gut is telling me to go with the Cowboys, but the only thing that scares me about Washington right now and Colt McCoy is number 28.
Yeah.
And that run game. If they can get that run game going against the Cowboys and Colt McCoy can do play action, Dallas is going to have a hard time.
Oh, yeah, and you've got to... Honestly, I know it's putting a lot on the kid, but you got to kind of lean towards Van Der Esch on that. The guys...
That's going to be a matchup to see.
guy.
Peterson, and him all day in the lines. I'm
Rookie
going.
versus the vet.
Yeah. I'm going Dallas 24, Washington 13.
Couldn't see that. I'm going to go more about kind of like last time. Probably 21-17, 21-18 maybe. Somewhere around there.
So I got the Cowboys for the win. I got the Lions for the win. And now we'll talk about prime time Thanksgiving night, which it's going to be a good game.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be a blowout.
Yeah, I think the saying Breeze magic, man. Breeze is it kind of feels like his Super Bowl year back a little while ago.
Man, I'm telling you, the dude has
Gunslinger.
almost 3,000 yards passing, 25 touchdowns. But did you see that interception ratio? He's only thrown one pick.
Per 25 touchdowns.
25 touchdowns, one pick.
The guy's...
Somebody get this man a lottery ticket.
No, quit with the Madden controls. He's playing on rookie.
Man.
Guy's playing on rookie. Okay.
Drew Brees is going to light up the Falcons in New Orleans, Thanksgiving Day night. You know how they eat their turkey in New Orleans, don't you?
Well, how's that?
Cajun style.
Oh, I would love that.
But they're not eating turkey tonight. You know what they're eating? They're eating bird. Some kind of falcon tonight. Wrong podcast, Indiana Jones. So,
although I might join them for that. I mean, honestly, I'd love to try some falcon.
So they're gonna. It's a mismatch on paper, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But we're talking.
New Orleans is first in points per game, so to where Atlanta is ninth.
ESPN has an 80% chance of the Falcons losing this game. Matt Ryan, on the other hand, has not been too shabby.
No,
he's thrown almost 3,400 yards, 22 touchdowns with just 4 picks.
And I mean, he's just about 400 yards over Breeze. The guy's almost the same in touchdowns, just a few more interceptions. Matty Ice, you can't really blame him for that because he's not to blame. I mean, maybe some mistakes on where he's thrown and all that, but other than that, you can't really blame the guy. So, yeah, it's just Drew Brees and those Saints. They're marching. I mean, honestly,
Week 3, the last time these teams played, the Saints won 43-37.
Right.
Today, I'm wanting to say it could be a close game like that. But my gut instinct is telling me that they're going to blow the Falcons out of the water.
So you said ESPN has an 80% chance of the Falcons losing? Yahoo Sports has 96% chance of the actual Saints winning. So
the Saints are favored by 12.5. Give or take, I could see them winning by 2 touchdowns or more. Yeah. I'm going to take the spread. I'm going to take the points. The Saints have just been lighting it up.
Yeah. Truthfully, I'm going to take the Saints 34-21.
34-21. I see that.
I mean,
the Saints. Now that we're getting into playoff time, we won't spend too much time on this because this is just our teaser episode, if you will. The Saints, if they can just, they don't even have to win out. No. They can afford to lose one game, stay at number 1.
I mean, as long as they win the divisional matchups, they can lose 2 or 3.
I don't think they want to just win the division. I think they want to sit high. I think they want to clinch home field advantage throughout the playoffs.
Would definitely help them give a rest.
You don't want to go to New Orleans and hear those fans during the playoff time.
Oh no, that Superdome gets hard.
During the playoffs in January, it's supposed to be a tough time. But the only thing that fears the Saints is that the next time they play the Rams, would you rather play in the Superdome or in LA outside?
I mean, if I'm Drew Brees, I'm playing at home. I'm wanting that home crowd on my side. I'm wanting, Jared Goff to get shaken up.
And they could definitely run the table. They have the Falcons at home, on the road at the Cowboys, on the road at the Buccaneers, on the road at the Panthers, and then they finish out the season at home, back-to-back games against the Steelers and Panthers. So they still have the Panthers to play twice.
If you get, say this becomes the NFC Championship, the LA Rams versus the New Orleans Saints at the last of that. Say that comes up. That is the old gunslinger versus the young punk kid kind of gunslinger kid. So, I mean, That would be a hell of a game, because honestly, Jared Goff and Patrick Mahomes last week put up a hell of a game. What, 106 points combined, 105? Those guys did a hell of a game.
I thought I was watching an online game of Madden during that game.
Someone, yeah.
You can't even score that easy on Madden.
I mean, it kind of was reminiscent of Patrick Mahomes and Baker Mayfield back in that Texas Tech OU game with, the high points and high offensive yards and all that.
I'm going to go ahead and go with the Saints, but I think they're going to score them more than 34 points.
Okay.
I'm going to call a 49
Dang.
28 game.
49-28? Okay. I'm sticking with 34-21.
49-28. Again, it could go either way, but I think the Saints are going to keep rolling. So, Thanksgiving, food, football. It would not be the Cine-men movie podcast unless we had a top 5.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to go... we still have one more issue to get here.
Okay.
And that is some college football.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can talk about a little bit tomorrow. Some of the top ranked games for tomorrow. You have primetime Washington at Washington State.
There you go.
16 Washington at number 8 Washington State. 7:30 on Fox. UCF ranked number 9 in the country on the road at USF.
Okay.
3:15 on ESPN. 11 o'clock in the morning, you got the number 14th ranked Texas Longhorns on the road at Kansas. It's a win, and they're in a situation with Texas. All they got to do is win, and they're in the Big 12 championship.
Yep.
And then you got prime time, 7 o'clock, ESPN tomorrow. The number 6 ranked team in the country, Oklahoma, sitting high and pretty at 10-1.
Yes, sir.
On the road against number 13 West Virginia, who are sitting at 8-2.
Yep.
The winner of that game will play, if Texas, if in the Big 12 championship.
Yep.
Now we're going to touch.
Which most of the time with that, the winner of that Big 12 championship gets a Sugar Bowl bid, basically. So we'll see on that.
So Washington State. It's going to be a close game,
Yeah.
but I'm going to go with Minshew and Washington State University. I'm going to pick Washington State 45-28.
Okay.
Pac-12. I think Pac-12 championship berth is on the line.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you on that. I mean, honestly, I've got to agree with you.
UCF, I think they're going to blow USF out of the water. I think it'll be a 38-10 game. We'll call UCF with the win, 11-0.
Yeah, because they just seem to be on a streak.
Now, let's talk what we're here to talk about.
Uh-oh.
We're 11 with today's Thanksgiving.
Yep.
We are possibly 10 days away from the Red River Rivalry Part 2.
Yep. Say that 3 times fast.
Go fuck yourself.
Aww.
The University of Texas at Kansas, all they have to do is win and get in the Big 12 championship.
Yep.
For all you guys out there listening, if there's anybody out there listening, which I hope there is, I'm a huge Texas fan. For everybody who listens, for everybody who knows me, the past 10 years has been complete and utter dog shit. It marks the 10-year anniversary of one of the last times Texas could go to the Big 12 championship. And I know it's Kansas. Everybody's saying it's Kansas. What are you sweating for? Just a few years ago, actually the last time Texas went up to Lawrence, they got their ass kicked. Kansas manhandled the University of Texas.
Every down team has.
Let me repeat that. Kansas, the University of Kansas Jayhawks, manhandled the Texas Longhorns.
I know that pains you to say that.
I've never said that in my entire life. So, am I worried about tomorrow's game? It concerns me, but Tom Herman is not Charlie Strong.
True.
This Texas team is not 2 years ago.
No.
So I think that Texas is going to go in with a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking about them. Everybody's talking about Oklahoma and West Virginia.
True.
And I think Texas is going to take care of business. Now, if the final score is 14-10, it's a win and we're in. I don't care.
Or even 11-10 for that matter.
They're in the Big 12 championship if they win. To me, as a Texas fan, where Texas was just 2 years ago, if they get in, that's all that kind of. I mean, it would be nice to win. Don't get me wrong. Who wouldn't want to win it?
Right.
But to look 2 years later and see where we're at, and if we win tomorrow, we're sitting at 9-3 in the Big 12 championship.
Yep.
That's been a completely turnaround, and
they
deserve to be where they're at because of the defense that they've played.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. They actually, like you said, have turned around, and on top of that speaks volumes for Coach Herman. That guy has turned around a football team that everybody was kind of flicking off their shoulder like dust.
Nobody thought we'd win 6 or 7 games this year.
I mean,
we only won 6 games last year.
Who the hell thought Iowa State would be in the point that they are in right now?
Well,
3 years ago they were a joke. Now they're like number 4 in the Big 12.
Yeah, they're out of the Big 12 championship game.
Right.
Fuck Iowa State. We're not talking about those guys.
Well, no, I'm just saying. It just shows you. I mean, a conference like ours can flip on a dime.
Oh yeah, and think about it this way: Kansas is the only team in the Big 12 where their coach has a national championship.
At the moment, true.
What does that say?
Yeah, but I mean, the guy's been there for what? No, I'm just kidding.
Been there for a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
But I'm wanting to talk about the defense for Texas. I think they're going to step up. The defense has played lights out. But Sam Ehlinger, sophomore quarterback, dude plays like if he's 300 pounds. When he runs, and he can run hard. His stats, looking at it right now, going into tomorrow's game, he's got 2,600 yards, 21 passing touchdowns, and just 2 picks.
That's pretty good. The kid's not bad.
Our running back, Ingram, 625 yards, only 3 touchdowns. But are we not completely switched it around? Not to mention, there's a kid out there named Lil Jordan Humphrey.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yeah, once or twice.
Was it in the Big 12? I think it was against OU when you heard of him.
Once or twice.
He's got 1,000 yards already, 8 touchdowns, with possibly 3 more games to go.
No, honestly, in all full honesty, I'd like to see him, because I know Emmanuel Sanders, I know he's still good, and I'm a Denver Broncos fan, so going back a little bit to professional right now. Here in a couple of years, I wouldn't mind that guy actually going ahead and fucking replacing Emmanuel Sanders in due time. Like, I wouldn't mind that. We've got Courtland Sutton. We've got Emmanuel Sanders right now. Truthfully, I'd like to see Lil Jordan Humphreys. He's a big guy. He could take over that number 1 receiver spots where Courtland Sutton could take over number 2. That'd be a dangerous duo right there. But we'll see.
Now we got prediction time. Oklahoma, or erase that, we'll go back. Texas, Kansas. Who do you got?
Honestly, in this one, I've got Texas. They just seem like the more dangerous team. They seem like the more put-together team. Offense is doing good. Defense is scary. I mean, the wide receivers they've got are freaking... They're titans, practically. Like, they're big dudes. I mean, you got... Both of them are 6'3", 6'4", over 220 each. Those are big guys for the NFL, let alone... Freaking up. Like, don't get me wrong. After that, I'm just worried about how fast you can run and how good you can catch. I mean, route skills, that can come in time. A coach can do that. You cannot teach speed. You can teach catching, but it does have to come from the player. A lot of it has to come from the player. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I can't catch to save my life half the time. I'm not that fast either. So those are 2 things that I was not gifted with. I can run a route. I can be taught to run a route. But the thing is those guys are huge. They are very versatile. They are fast. So all you got to worry about is how well they can catch. And then Sam Ehlinger with how well he can pitch the ball to him. Boom, you're good. Score? They put up 40 points on us last week. I'm a Sooners fan, so hey, boomer. But let's see. I would go ahead and go 48-29, 48-28. I mean, honestly, like, I'm saying they're going to put some points up on the Jayhawks.
Generous.
I mean, honestly.
In order for Texas to win this game and to win it dominantly, you have to do one of two things. You have to do two of three things. You have to run the football, and you have to protect Sam Ehlinger. Sam Ehlinger going into this game with his banged-up throwing shoulder. They said he was good to go. There's no need to worry is what they say, but this is the second time this year his shoulder has been banged up. If they protect him and he stays upright, I like him big. If he struggles and his shoulder is still banged up, they're going to struggle.
Oh, yeah.
Defense shows up. I say Texas wins 38-9 on the road in a cool, cold atmosphere in Kansas. Texas rolls on to the Big 12 championship as the number 2 seed. Now let's talk about the main event, if you will. The Big 12 the Big 12 winner gets in.
Yeah, I mean, honestly.
It doesn't get any bigger than this. Oklahoma ranked number 6 at West Virginia number 13. Winner gets in. Why does Oklahoma feel like they're the underdog and they feel like they're unranked going into this game?
Defense. That's all. Defense. Because don't get me wrong, we have the number 2 scoring offense in the country. We have one of the best offenses. We have probably, and this might be a bit biased, but Tua, set the fuck over because Kyler Murray's running your ass over in everything except for interceptions. Literally, better in everything except for interceptions.
It's 100% biased.
So no. That's stats. That is stats. He has almost 400 yards on him in passing wise, and a full, I think, 1% or 2% in completion rate. Come on.
Oklahoma loses to Texas. They score 52 the following week. 51, 51, 48, 55. Defense after Texas.
Yep.
They lose to Texas 48-45.
Now we've got to point on one thing. They lose to Texas. Mike Stoops is out of there. Rufus McNeil is in.
Okay. So that happens. TCU 27 points. Kansas State 14 points. Yeah. Everything looks up up from there.
Tackling was better.
But then this is where you guys get burnt.
Yep.
Texas Tech 46 points.
Yep.
Oklahoma State 47 points.
Yep.
The Kansas Jayhawks 40 points. Is it time to hit the panic button going into this West Virginia game?
A little bit, just because Will Grier, I mean, you know, if you understand football at all and you've kind of looked into the Heisman race, Will Grier, you've heard that name a few times. You've heard him for a few weeks. You know, the guy's not a
he was hot last year until he broke his hand at Texas.
Right. And I mean, the guy's not something to sneeze about. He's not something to just put on the back burner. Kid's good. Kid could go in and, I mean, he could light some people up if he really wants.
So we're not going to be biased here. Oklahoma's favored.
No.
Oklahoma's favored by 3. Now let's talk about the West Virginia side of things.
Okay.
They have been off and on. When they win, they win. But when they lose, man, Iowa State held them to 14 points in Iowa.
Yeah.
And then they lose again last week to Oklahoma on the road, or Oklahoma State on the road, 45-41. And you look at it, you look when they lose. They lost the first time of the year, October 13th, at Iowa State. Boy, are they pissed, and they come back the next week and put almost up 60 points.
Yeah.
Does West Virginia have the defense to slow down Kyler Murray?
Truthfully, I'm not 100% sure.
You look at that West Virginia defense. They held Texas Tech to 34. Kansas only put 22 points up on them. Iowa State, even in a loss, Iowa State only scored 30 on them. Baylor puts up 14. TCU puts up 10. Oklahoma State beats them at 45 points.
Right.
So, I mean, their defense can be scored on.
Oh, yeah.
Texas put up 40 on them as well.
I mean, anybody's defense can be scored on. It's a matter of will the offense take that and go with it. Because, I mean, OU's offense is a powerhouse. I mean, honestly, it really is. It's not being biased. It's just what it is. They've had some slow starts. Against Texas, we had a slow start. We did.
Against this team, I don't think you guys can afford to have a slow start.
We can't. We have to. It's got to be pedal to the metal full game. I mean, Kyler's got to be on it. Marquise Brown, CeeDee Lamb. Kennedy Brooks, Trey Sermon, all four of those guys need to be on it. The offensive line so far has been... You can't ask much more of the guys. I mean, the only way I could ask him more is to have Andrew Luck's line come in. I mean, honestly, I'm not saying they're that good, but they've done the job for Kyler.
Honestly, any NFL line would destroy.
Well, yeah. But they've done the job for Kyler. They really have. Plus, the kid's athletic as hell. I think he's the second or third fastest guy on the team, literally.
So, now that we've looked at both of their schedules, we got a feel for it. Putting you on the spot.
Yeah.
Oklahoma on the road. Who wins?
Now, this is a little biased, so whatever. I'm a Sooner fan. I ain't going to doubt my boys. I'm going to go with Oklahoma Sooners. I am going to go ahead and put 3 points on, since, don't get me wrong, the last few games have been, other than the Kansas game, they've been tight. And this is probably, between them, OSU, and Texas, this has been the hardest game they're going to have to play so far. So I'm going to put 3 points up, Oklahoma Sooners. I'll say 47-44. It's going to be a big scoring game. Oklahoma Sooners haven't put less than 45 on an opponent since, I think, Texas. Actually, not even less than 45. It was 45 since with Texas. So, I think 47-44. I really do. I think Will Grier's going to have a great game. I think Kyler Murray's going to have a great game. I just think OU is going to kind of play like they usually have been, and it's going to be how much can we score on you, not how much do we have to keep up. It's basically just keep up with us kind of deal. So.
Well, man, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I think the Big 12 championship will be Oklahoma and Texas.
Yep.
I
do too.
Even on the road, with as bad as their defense is, I think the final score is going to be 66-50, Oklahoma.
Damn, okay.
I think it's going to be a high-scoring game.
I do too.
I think Oklahoma can put 66 on them. I think Oklahoma can put 60 on them. The only thing that strikes me is if West Virginia can find a way to send a spy on Kyler Murray.
I think so too.
If they can keep a good spy on him and keep him in the pocket, and West Virginia play man, I think they can keep it close, and I think they can keep OU under 50 if they do that. Now, if they just lose control of Kyler Murray and let him toss and run around and do his Vic thing, they're going to score 60 easy.
Burn. I mean,
so,
honestly. But I mean, even
I'm picking Oklahoma. I'm picking Oklahoma 66-50. And I think that's gonna do it for us.
Right.
This is just a taste, a 38-minute taste of what you guys are gonna get. We have a lot of NFL slate action coming to your way.
Yes.
We have college football coming your way, and
not much of the CFP going on lately, but there's still more to go on. Still, man,
I'm excited. This is something that Rockstar presented. This is all their idea, and we're gonna live up to it. So,
yeah, definitely. And both of us have been big football fans since I can remember. I mean, honestly. So yeah, we definitely got a big object to go with.
Yeah, no kidding. You can catch the Cine-men movie podcast every Friday.
And you can catch the Tuesday morning audible every Tuesday.
The Cine-men movie podcast is every Friday at noon. Every episode will drop at noon. Facebook search Movie Reels 405. And like he said, the Tuesday morning audible every Tuesday, 11 o'clock. First episode this Tuesday, 11 o'clock.
This is Edward signing out.
And this is Johnny, and we will see you Tuesday on the Tuesday morning football audible.